All right, this question is for all the hairstylists and the beauty pros in the room. Raise your hand or show some love and give this video a like if you have ever had a client who was just never happy. Today, we're going to dive into the driving factors behind their lack of satisfaction and talk about what we as beauty professionals can do to get to the bottom of things and find a solution. But first, I want to introduce myself. Hi, my name's Mary and I'm the Stylist Consultant. I'm a business development educator with a focus on critical thinking and interpersonal communication. If this is your first time here, welcome, and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on the latest content. I'm going to be bringing you new educational videos each week detailing out tough real-life situations that we as stylists face on occasion and ask, what would you do? I'll then talk about how you can use critical thinking and good communication to professionally handle this situation, maximizing the odds of a favorable outcome while minimizing the odds of future frustrations. I want to help you bulletproof your business so you can stress less and get back to what you love doing, bringing your talents and your gifts to the world one head of hair at a time. So let's get started. Okay, so when was the last time you had to deal with a client who was just never satisfied with your work? No one wants a client who we can't make happy. One of the best pieces of advice I got from a mentor of mine was that you can never make everyone happy, no matter how hard you try. And to illustrate this, I want you to think of chocolate. Countless people love chocolate, but still there are some that will 10 times out of 10 turn their nose up to it no matter how amazing and delicious it is. They'll just never be a fan. In my case, it's olives. It can be the most amazing olive or olive product or tapenade on the planet, and I'm likely never going to be stoked about it no matter how delicious it is. So what can you do when your client is habitually unhappy with the services they receive? Have you ever had a client that you can set your watch to, like, oh, it's been 16 and a half hours since our appointment. I should be hearing from Jane any minute. It's easy to shrug off when you're not involved in it, but let's be real. It can be really hard not to take these things personally, especially when it involves our art. Also, dealing with clients like this can be so stressful. And if you're at all how I was early on in my career, it can mess with your mind and make you second guess your skills, which isn't a good feeling. I remember about 4 years into my career, I actually had a client, let's just call her Darlene, who received a highlight, low light, and cut every 5 weeks. And it was a really straightforward service. However, like clockwork, every single time, 2 days later, I would get a text complaining about something. It's always something like, oh, the cut is always so close but never perfect, or the tone's just a touch too dark. Let's add more blonde next time, or there's too much blonde this time. Let's take some out next time, or now there's too much dark again and we need to add more blonde, or now the blonde is too cool and now the blonde is too neutral, or it's too natural looking. There was always something wrong. Have you had a client like this? If so, let me know down in the comments. Let's compare notes. I see stylists post situations like this quite often, and I'm never surprised when the most common piece of advice given by others is, fire her! However, I'm here to say that while that isn't the totally wrong thing to do, we shouldn't jump straight to camp, fire that chick. Why? Well, because it's important that we get an understanding as to why they're never happy. If your client is telling you this instead of just leaving, it means that ultimately they want to be in your chair. They want to be heard and seen, and they're fighting to stay with you. Now, I know that this type of client can be really stressful and even cause anxiety, so it's going to be important to address this type of situation as soon as you notice it becoming a problem. If we as the professional allow it to happen time and time again, we're giving the client a green light to continue this kind of behavior. Also, if you've not addressed the issue with them, they might not even realize the effect that it's having on you. So for this reason, remember, clients aren't mind readers. So here are my strategies for dealing with the habitually unsatisfied client. The first thing I'm going to suggest is start a conversation. So most of the time, the posts I see online involve the stylist staying mum or quiet on the subject until they are completely done and upset and at their wits' end with the client. And then they go onto the Facebook groups and are like, I'm at my wits' end. What can I do? I'm sure you've seen that. So this part is hard for some because it feels like we're opening up a can of conflict. But in reality, we can have an easy conversation that ideally won't make your client feel shamed or go into defensive mode. The best way to start this conversation is with a positive note to set the tone in a positive manner. So I would recommend something like this. Hey, Darlene. I just wanted to say that I'm thankful to have you as a client and I'm appreciative of your business. However, I wanted to discuss something that's become a concern for me lately. My goal is to perform the best quality work and deliver results that my clients are happy with, and lately I've noticed that you've not been happy with the services you've received. I wanted to address this today because your satisfaction is of the utmost importance to me, and I want you to feel confident coming to me. I would love to invite you in for a thorough consult so we can discuss your concerns and desired look. I'm dedicated to finding a solution that meets your needs, and together, I'm confident we can achieve the desired outcome. Signed, Mary. After this, get them in for the consult of consults. I recommend having a printed consult sheet in an instance like this so you can have a concrete written plan of what your client is wanting. While you're discussing the desired outcome, use your awesome active listening skills. And just as a reminder, there are two kinds of listening, and one is passive listening. That's where they speak to you and you answer with, okay, sure, or some other acknowledging term. It's kind of like a smile and nod. Whereas active listening, the skill that we want to use here, involves giving your client your full attention, asking clarifying questions, repeating the main points back to your client, and if need be, ask for photos. This is one of the best ways for you to both get on the same page visually. Once you've seen the photos, ask more clarifying questions if you need to. What do you like about this? Or is there anything that you don't like? The clearer you can get, the better. And hopefully this will clear up any communication issues you and your client might have had, or it may bring the fact that their comments affected you to the front of their mind, so they'll be more mindful about constantly complaining. Either way, this first approach will hopefully help you fix the problem without you having to lose a client. However, if it didn't work, if you had a clear conversation expressing your concerns, and if the client is continuing to show dissatisfaction in the services received, it may be a sign that it's time to let them go. Now, here's what I would say to a client that continued to voice dissatisfaction with their services. Dear Darlene, first off, thank you for being a loyal client, and I hope this letter finds you well. I'm reaching out to address our recent conversation about ongoing concerns you've expressed. Client satisfaction is so important to me, and while I thank you for giving me the chance to provide you with a great and memorable service, it seems that we've been unable to achieve the desired outcome despite my best efforts. After careful consideration, it's clear to me that I'm unable to meet your needs and expectations, and I have come to the very hard decision to part ways professionally. I believe that it would be in both of our interests to explore alternative options so that you can find a hairstylist who can better provide the level of satisfaction that you deserve. I want to assure you that this decision is not taken lightly. I hold no ill will or hard feelings towards you, and I want to thank you for your patronage again and the opportunity to serve you. Best wishes, Mary. In the case with my client, I ended up sending a very similar letter to this one, and ultimately she saw that I was no longer going to deal with constant complaining, and that moving forward, I thought it would be best if she found another stylist, and why I had made the decision that I made. A few months later, a stylist friend of mine mentioned to me that Darlene had actually found her way to her chair, and the stylist was having the same issues. I told the stylist the reasoning for my letting Darlene go and encouraged her to have a talk like the one that I mentioned earlier. Some people are going to get the point and be better behaved, and some are unfortunately just going to continue on complaining. But at the very least, you shouldn't feel obligated to put up with it just because you work with the public. As I've said in the past, respect is a mutual thing in any business relationship, and it's okay for you to let your clients know what you expect of them, just as they let you know what they expect of you, because that is how healthy professional relationships work. So, as you can see, handling a habitually unhappy client doesn't need to be scary or intimidating. There are ways to address it without getting overly emotionally driven or confrontational. All right, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like a written guide to today's episode, head to the Stylist Consultant blog. You can go ahead and find the link in the video description below. If you learned something new, please be sure to give the video a like. And to be sure that you never miss a topic that we discuss here, do be sure to subscribe to the channel down below. I'll be releasing new educational content each week that'll help you confidently tackle any tough situation thrown your way. Lastly, if you're feeling more stuck than the slime your toddler dropped in the carpet, and if you're looking for explosive growth in the beauty industry without having to rely on the social media machine, Instagram, I'm available for one-on-one coaching. I have an expertise in branding and local marketing, along with a knack for cultivating a memorable guest experience. If you want to learn more about affordable business coaching packages, you can head to my website, www.thestylistconsultant.com/coaching. You can find the link in the video description below. If you've dealt with a situation like this, or if you have a topic that you'd like to hear me cover, let me know on my website or in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. All right, you guys, that's all I've got this week, and I will see you back here next Monday. Bye.